Hey there.
What's up?
Huh?
Can you hear me?
I can, yeah.
Good morning. Wow. Okay. I know this. Are we recording right now?
Yes.
Okay. Because our shirts are perfect and they couldn't be more literally representative of you and me. Yours says, for people who are listening and can't see it, yours says, hell is other people.
Yep.
Love that. My shirt is the exact opposite. It's people need other people. We didn't even plan that. That's so good.
I love that. And that 100% describes both of our personalities.
Yeah. Although, some days I'm waking up and I'm feeling what your shirt is saying, but I am trying to lean into the part of me that remembers that we are human, especially, hi, good to see you. It's been literally the specific time of that thing called the pandemic that I haven't seen you. And it took a long time to be like, okay, people, I want to see people. I want to go
Yeah.
do.
Yep, 100%. Oh yeah, it's great to see you though. I'm so excited that you're going to be here next week. It is like
I am so excited because I'm excited to see you and to get to play there for my first time. Do you know what I mean?
have
Like,
you've never been to Louisville?
I've never been to Louisville. I've never played. Like every tour route, it's just like, it's always been Nashville, Chicago, or whatever. And I don't have control over that, obviously. So, like, I want to. And I've been like, oh, I'm driving through, I'm passing through, but this will be my first time playing. And the fact that I'm getting to talk to you, it just feels really special.
Yeah, I am so excited. Like once I saw that lineup announced, I was like, "Oh my God, Morg is gonna be here!" Like I told my wife, and like she's like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, we already planned on going and everything, and now it just makes it even more special." So, but I appreciate you taking some time to kind of carve out a little bit of time to talk and talk about not only just the festival coming up, but also let's talk about new music and just kind of get into all of it. Of course,
Yeah.
I mean, you're no stranger to the airwaves here. I mean, we played Home, we played Wonder, and you have some new music as well with Modern Man that's been out for what, just about a month now.
Yeah, less than a month, but yeah, this is a renaissance. This is a revival for sure because, let's just rewind to, 2019 with Home, so exciting. And then I'm entering 2020 with this like, you know, joy of life thing. Um, and I don't know if you remember this specifically happening, but here's where I've been and here's what happened. March of 2020, we all know where we were and what we thought we were going to be doing. Also, for those listening who can't watch, you don't get to see my dog blending in perfectly with her couch behind me. But, anyways, March of 2020, I get a call from my lawyer that the label that I'm on is dropping me. And I'm like spiraling, terrified. I don't know how I'm going to release music or whatever. The same day, Billie Eilish tweets about 5 songs that were instrumental to her inspiration behind Bad Guy.
Mhm.
And lo and behold, sitting on that list of 5 songs is me with my song Home. So my phone is blowing up. Do you know what I mean? Like from people I haven't talked to in forever, to just random people, whatever. I'm so excited, but at the same time, I'm like holding this, piece of news that like the thing that I've been releasing music with is like completely going away. Plus, the world is crumbling, et cetera, et cetera,
Yeah, a lot
So
happening.
yeah. So I go to like release this song Wonder independently, and the lyric is I wonder if anyone will hear this, right? 100 million streams in its first month, and it completely changed my life, and it completely changed the way that I thought that anything was possible. And it was like one of the lowest moments of my career, mixed with like this exciting like tweet from Billie Eilish, and then music just sort of like going off and doing its wonderful thing. Anyways, I took my own advice. I moved back home. I've got a tattoo of Tennessee on there. And it was not really, I wasn't really sure what I was going to be doing here because it was like hard to move home for me. But I have gone in and for the first time, I've made an album with musicians, which I've never done before. Like I got, you know, Aaron Sterling on drums and Tony Lucido on bass and Saul Philcox on guitar. And we took these songs and I made a record that I am so proud of. And Modern Man is the second single of it, but I'm going to slowly release pieces of this album over the next year.
I love it. And, it kind of ties into, talking about Modern Man and all of that. So I know that since putting out the song, your big thing is you've been going out on the streets and you've been asking people like, what is a modern man? And, you kind of get a little bit of that when you're listening to the song, but, what is a modern man in your eyes?
I'm asking myself that question a lot because, that question is such a polarizing thing, depending on where you go to ask the question, which is like, sometimes I'm either brave or stupid and I'm not sure which one because I'm going around and I'm asking people like what is a modern man and I'm not really sure if they're going to like laugh and give me like a fun response or if they're going to like I don't know punch me. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I think you can feel that in the videos and I feel like honestly I'm not even there's times where I've asked the question and people are like yelling at me. They don't want to answer that question, and I'm like running away. So, what is a modern man? I think a modern man is somebody who loves and accepts not only who they are, but also loves and accepts whoever other people are, because it doesn't actually infringe on your right to be yourself. There's a lot of stuff happening with Pride Month this year where people are so afraid that, just because somebody over here is asking like, hey, I'm trying to exist, that somehow we're saying that's because only we can exist and you can't exist. But that's 11/11 Make-A-Wish. A modern man is also somebody who has an alarm set for 11/11 to make a wish. Okay. A modern man is somebody that isn't threatened by the idea of all of us having a seat at the table. I think that's, to me, growing up in the South, I didn't really get that kind of example of a man, because to be a man meant that you have to provide, you have to, be strong, you have to not cry, which, if you follow these themes, these are themes that are like deep inside my music and have always been, but I feel like modern man is, I'm really proud to have made it in Nashville. I'm really proud that I recorded the music video in Nashville, because I think that music video, if you haven't seen it, is another wonderful triggering example of a institution that is supposed to provide comfort and safety that ends up dividing people because they don't want to accept people for being queer or for whatever. I made that video. I wanted to make that video and I was pitched to make it in LA. And I had this idea for this video. I was like, I want there to be a drag queen. I want to be like talking to a drag queen, asking these questions. And the fact is I got to record it in Nashville, where I'm from. And the drag queen was my high school classmate. You know what I mean? It was like magical. So if you haven't seen the video, go check it out.
Yeah. And I mean, with the video too, I mean, like with everything that you've already kind of gone over with, the struggles that, the LGBTQ plus community.
Yeah.
Get words out that the community faces all the time. You really kind of take this video and, on top of the whole question of what is a modern man, but it also, is kind of getting into identity. It's getting into gender norms. And I feel like that connection with, religion in the video and kind of juxtaposition on that, is kind of that greater scope of what's happening in the world as well. And it seems like, I mean, there's always a lot of passion that comes from your music and videos as well. But I feel like this is kind of like a step up as far as like, it's like kind of branching out there and being a little more, be like,
Yeah, I'm going in there. Yeah,
yeah,
I'm stepping in it. I think coming back to Nashville was really interesting because like I said, like home is this idea that like I've been running away from home since I was 18. You know what I mean? Like since before I was 18, I just, left at 18 and I never thought that I would come back here. And at one point, somebody I saw, I've been singing at the Capitol, like, when they were going to remove, the women's right to choose, I was singing at the Capitol. When they were going to ban gender affirming healthcare, I was singing at the Capitol. When when we were demanding gun rights, I was singing at the Capitol, right? And this person that I know as a friend, he's like, man, I feel like I feel like you only leave the house to come sing at the Capitol. And I was like, you might be right, because if I'm not working on music or being with my partner and loving life, I'm seeing that there's a need for standing up for other people's rights, and it's happening in Tennessee in a big way, and we happen to hit the national news, international news with the Tennessee Three and everything that happened in that day. I was there at the Capitol singing. It was so peaceful and beautiful, and I'm getting chills about it. But like, I didn't intend to move home at a time where I needed to be fighting for my rights and everyone else's rights. But when I see that something is happening like that, yeah, it makes me fight, because I know what it's like to be young and to be scared and to be afraid and to hide, especially growing up here. And I feel like that charge is all over the music that I've made. It's like, it's made me, I have a fight that I didn't even know that I had left.
yeah. And I think that's, kind of that evolution of your music. 'Cause I mean, we've known each other for a long time, like going way, way back, and it feels like now it's still very personal, but it's also, that voice for a lot of other people. And, you go back and like to a certain degree, yes, but a lot of that felt like it was more personal for you and, sharing that story so other people can connect. But now it seems like it's kind of transitioning more into like, yes, like this is still my story, but collectively it's our story.
Wow. Well, thanks. Some people might say it's because I'm in love, like it's, he did inspire a lot of the Modern Man music video, because he grew up in a extremely conservative religious household, and he actually is a therapist who leads religious trauma groups here in Nashville. And I don't know, like, he is so kind and loving and a man and genuine and honest. And yet the religion that he grew up in won't accept him for who he is, and he couldn't harm a fly. Like he has more plants in this house than like there are people in the world. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, he is the kindest, sweetest person. And you're telling me that like God doesn't love all of us? Do you know what I mean? It just doesn't make any sense. So he has inspired a lot of the heart behind this music for sure, which is a totally wild adventure that I'm on.
I love that. Again, the Kentuckiana Pride Festival is coming up on the 17th, Waterfront Park with Morgan. A bunch of artists are going to be there, and with Pride Month and with all of these different festivals and everything, there's a lot of different things that people focus on when it comes to Pride Month, but one of the things that I think kind of gets overlooked sometimes is more about education. Like there is the sense of togetherness and and fighting for rights and all of that, but also educating everyone, whether it's people in the community, whether it's allies, or even people who are, kind of oppressive. So, what do you think, is maybe like one or two things that you wish people would really be able to kind of understand and educate themselves more about?
Yeah, I think like the history of Pride, is I think it just hit 50 years, like maybe right before 2020, obviously the past couple years, I'm just going to pretend that that's just like one wash of time. But
Yeah.
like, we're talking about something that's relatively still young and still on the chopping block. You know what I mean? So there's like, always this question, like, why does it have to be so loud? Or like, why does it have to be so proud? And you have to look at that question and not look at, this is for somebody who is, let's call them an ally, but let's just call them not a queer person, for the sake of saying that Pride Month exists so that the young me who is lost and confused in a Southern town and afraid that who they are and who they might love might make them um, bad or somehow wrong. Pride exists to reach out to that kid and say, you are not alone. You are a part of a family, a part of a community. And for that reason, pride should exist loudly, proudly forever. You know what I mean? I hope and I pray that the idea of coming out is no longer an issue. But the fact that you have to come out means that there is a world out there of people who don't know that who they are is okay. So I think education is a big part of it, because it's 2023. It looks like pride is everywhere, and it looks like, I think there's a statistic that like, most kids are queer at this point or something like that. But if you think of it like a spectrum, and if you think about it like it's only 50 years old, you realize that like it's just beginning, like people need to know that they're not alone. And that's why I think pride exists.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of those stigmas that need to be, just kind of talked about more. And again, like people need to be a little more educated about and all of that. So, and it's great to see events like this, with the Pride Festival. And,
It's great to see radio stations like you and people like you that are allies, that are, that are supporting a Pride Festival in a Southern town. Like, we know that it's an act of resistance to even show up and to be like, to be proud in a time and in a place where we don't always know what's going to happen. We don't know if our existence can be scary and threatening to other people, but allies like yourself and like your station, not only for playing my music, but for standing with us and saying that like, we have a lot to learn. You know what I mean? Like, I think that is powerful, and thank you.
Yeah, of course. We are happy to be part of it. And, I'm looking forward to seeing you. And with this particular performance, with it being, you told me in advance that it's going to be, an acoustic solo thing with you. And, having been a fan of your music and knowing that, lyrically, things can be, they can be uplifting, but also they can be somewhat like, kind of dark and, from that personal place of, sometimes fear or whatever it may be. But you always mix that well with, musically with some of the songs, more pop driven, up tempo, uplifting kind of beats to some of those. So how does it differ, with an acoustic performance where it's really just the bare minimum stripped down, just using your voice, how does that change the overall feeling of some of those songs? And, do you kind of play with that a little bit to adjust how people are perceiving the songs?
Yeah, I actually decided that I'm going to do it with full like track. So
Okay.
it's gonna be upbeat for this one.
Okay.
But I think the reason that I did it is because it's a festival, and I want to celebrate that we're together. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I kind of feel like the thing about my music is that you could strip it all back and like look at the words and see the heartache behind it, but that, you know, it's literally it's the Beatles. It's take a sad song and make it better. Do you know what I mean? And so my version of this Pride is going to be fun, uplifting, um, homecoming for me.
I love it. Well, anybody who wants to get tickets, get more info on the Kentuckiana Pride Festival, alt1051.com. You can do that, and you can see the always fantastic and lovely Morgan will be there. I am, again, very, very excited to see you coming up on the 17th. It's going to be an absolute blast. It has been far too long.
Amen. Great to see you.
It's great to see you, and we'll see you soon. All right.
See you soon. Bye.